Farsakh, who's a lecturer of international affairs at George Washington University. Nizar, you were hearing there from our correspondent who said Netanyahu has many questions to answer, but the biggest one is whether or not Israel is going to accept this proposal or not, surely.
Indeed. Netanyahu now is in the corner. As your colleague mentioned, the proposal is the one that was accepted by the war cabinet, the Israeli war cabinet. Therefore, if Netanyahu does not want to go ahead with it, he's going to need to come up with a plausible reason for that. My guess is he's going to work on the wordsmithing. Apparently, one of the challenges was that the Israelis did not want to use the word ceasefire, so they were pushing for, and I believe it was an American suggestion, to use the word sustainable calm. And that's why Hamas negotiators demanded that that term be explained in detail and have guarantees on what calm means, specifically in stopping all offensive actions. So it could be that he's going to try to use that wordsmithing.
Indeed. Now, at the moment, we don't know, of course, which way this is going to go. As you're saying, they're still talking about wording. We don't know if this agreement is actually, both sides will agree to this agreement. But the fact that Hamas have agreed, potentially, to this proposal, what does that say to you?
I think, like any negotiation, there is the content, but then there is also the perception. And it seems Hamas is trying to milk every possible optic of it, in that in the last week, there was a lot of blaming of Hamas, that they're not coming back. And the talk was about them coming back with an answer on Tuesday, tomorrow. So them coming back early this morning, and after that Biden had spoken with Bibi Netanyahu, shows that Hamas has the initiative and is able to, as many, in fact, Israeli commentators are saying, Hamas is able to play with the Israelis. And that image of power and initiative is precisely what Hamas is trying to score against the Israelis.
So that's important, then, you think, for Hamas, political point scoring?
Of course, because the whole point of the war, in fact, is to show that, as mentioned by Hamas leaders, that Palestine still matters. You cannot bypass the Palestinians and try to make deals outside of Palestine, and that the Palestinians are a worthy opponent that can enforce, in fact, their terms. So even in the spokesperson Kelly's talk just now in the press briefing, saying when he was asked whether they negotiate with terrorists, he was hard pressed to come up with an answer that doesn't actually imply that they did actually negotiate with terrorists, and they are the ones who are going after Hamas, trying to get it to be clear about its position. So it's showing Hamas that it's bringing the United States and Israel to its knees, and that is the kind of image that Hamas is going to leverage and, in fact, bank on whenever there are elections, Palestinian elections, or rearrangement of the distribution of power within Palestinian factions.
And Nizar, we know that Egypt has officially submitted this proposal to Israel. You mentioned language, that wording we know is important, that they want to potentially agree to a sustainable calm, not a pause, not a ceasefire. But what else do you think Israel is really looking for in this proposal to actually come to an agreement with Hamas?
I think the Israelis, there is tension between the fact that they know that they haven't achieved any of their goals. So they're trying to come up with a scenario where some outcome would look like one of its goals. And I believe that is some sort of destruction of Rafah, because Rafah staying intact and not having been attacked is going to look like, definitely is going to look like an incomplete mission from the Israeli perspective, while at the same time, the Israeli military, Eisenkot and Gantz, have mentioned or had said to Bibi Netanyahu that militarily speaking, there aren't any more military gains to continuing the war. So Bibi Netanyahu is in a position where he has no more military capital to expend in order to get political points, and that's why he's cornered.
Okay, Nizar Farsakh, Lecturer of International Affairs at George Washington University. We'll leave it there, but thank you for your analysis.